Welcome to the Board Game Diner, where we're serving up a full menu of fun of the cardboard variety. I'm John Fliss, and I'll be your server for today. This is the golden age of board games. There's a whole world out there you probably don't even know exists. Here at the Board Game Diner, I'm serving you a selection of welcoming games. Fun, accessible, easy to learn games that everyone can enjoy. Today I'm serving up a flight of fun games for just 2 players. Sometimes game night isn't a big gathering. Sometimes it's just you and one other person wanting to face off in a head-to-head battle of the wits. These are the games for that time. This menu of games I'm serving up today are 2-player only. So grab that gaming buddy and let's try some games. We'll kick off with Jaipur, a fast-paced game where we're going to trade and sell goods to become the wealthiest merchant. Both players start with a hand of 5 cards and a market of cards between them. On your turn, there are 3 ways to trade goods. You can take 1 card from the display and add it to your hand, or you can take any number of goods from the display, but you have to trade them with cards from your hand. Or finally, you can take all the camels that are on display. Camels can be used to swap with goods, and the player with the most at the end of the game gets 5 extra points. So that's trading. The one other thing you could do on your turn is sell goods from your hand. You can sell as many cards of the same type as you want, and you take that many of the available point tokens. If you sell 3 or more cards at once, you can take a bonus token, giving you extra points. The round ends when 3 of the piles are empty, or you can't draw to fill the market. When that happens, you add up all the point tokens you have, and whoever has the most camels gets that 5-point token. Whoever is the richest merchant takes a seal of excellence, and you play again. Best 2 out of 3. I like the simplicity of this game. You literally know how to play it from that explanation. But once you get started, you really start developing strategy to your play. You learn to balance the camels while racing to get those big points before the other player. That's the joy in Jaipur. One of my favorite parts of a board game is when you're presented with a torturous decision. And Glasgow has a main mechanism that makes you agonize over each move. There are 2 main areas of play in Glasgow. The main action area is a ring of tiles. These are randomly placed out at the start of the game, and not all tiles are used. So each game is different. You can move as far along the ring as you want and take that action. But whoever is behind is always the next to go. So you're constantly balancing, jumping ahead to be the first to that action you really want, but then you're leaving plenty of extra actions for your opponent. You can get resources, fire off factories, or double your next action. But the biggest action you'll do is build up the city. Here, you choose a tile which you place in a 4x4 grid, where both players are building. This is where you score your main points. Tiles give you various scoring opportunities, from pure points to giving you points based on other tiles you've built. Once the grid is complete, the game ends. As I said, I love that constant battle of how far do you go. I really need that gold resource, but if I jump up there, I'm giving you multiple actions before you pass me. But if I don't go now, you may jump ahead and take it. I also like how this game is boiled down to a concentrate. You're going around the action track, you've got bare bones resources, including the wild whiskey resource that you're constantly taking from one another, because there's only one. So you better use it or you'll lose it. And then the additional puzzle of laying the tiles. It's a great game that plays in less than 30 minutes. As soon as you're done, you want to shuffle things up and try again. Go on, take a trip to Glasgow. After building up in Scotland, let's head to another nation on an island, Catan. You may be familiar with that game, especially if you saw my review of it in episode 2, but this is Rivals for Catan. A 2-player version of the classic board game that, spoiler alert, I like way better than the original. In the original Catan, players were building up the island, getting resources from dice rolls wherever they have their settlements. With Rivals, Everything is in cards. Your settlements, your resource cards, and roads. Just like in the original Catan, you have to connect your settlements by building roads. But this time around, you also get expansion slots above and below each settlement. Building expansions here give you actions and abilities that you can use for the rest of the game. So the more settlements you build out, the more expansion spaces you have available, and the more resource tiles you get. That's another big difference in this game. No more resource cards. You have these areas that produce and track your resources. Now I have 2 bricks, now 3. There's also the addition of point scoring opportunities with strength advantage and trade advantage on cards that get you extra victory points. But these are temporary and can be stolen by the other player if they get the advantage. The last new addition is the event die that is rolled along with the resource die at the start of the turn. This could cause good things or bad things to happen. It can give certain players a bonus or everyone a bonus depending on what comes up. Each turn, the active player rolls the event die and the resource die. All players resolve the event die and generate resources. Then the active player starts playing cards, paying any resources required to do what they can. When they are done, they refill or discard to their hand limit. The game is a race, and the first player to have 7 or more points at the end of their turn wins the game. After playing this game, it felt like Catan was refreshed for me. The issues I had with the original weren't in this one. You can't block someone out of the board. There are a ton of interesting choices you can make. You can work to outgun someone on strength or trade and steal those victory points while building up advantages with your expansions. This is a dynamic and exciting game which lets you take control of your destiny, but still has some random luck mixed in. To me, original Catan is no rival for this game. Rivals for Catan. Next up, let's have a little game of tug of war with Royal Visit, where the players are trying to attract the visiting king to their chateau by controlling different characters with unique abilities. So you have this cloth board with one player's chateau on one side and one on the other. In the middle, you have the Joker, the Wizard, the King, and his 2 guards. The goal is to either get the king to your chateau or this crown token all the way to your side of the board. Each player has a hand of cards representing the different characters and how far they can move them. On a turn, they can play any number of cards from their hand of a single type and move that piece accordingly. The different characters have different rules too. The king must always stay between the 2 guards. The wizard has a special ability where he can summon a guard or the king to his space, but you can't play any cards that turn. And as long as the jester is between the king and your chateau, you can play his cards to move another character of your choice. At the end of your turn, you can move the crown token 1 space towards you for each character in your chateau, and you can move it 1 space if both guards and the king are on your side of the board. If the king or the crown ever reach your chateau, you win. The back and forth in this game is just like a game of tug of war. You can make big moves only to be pulled back the other way immediately, or you could just get overpowered. Sometimes you don't have the cards you need, or you don't have enough of them, and you just get bested. That can be frustrating, but the games are quick. This can be played with anyone in the family as it's relatively simple once you get the basic moves down. That's Royal Visit. That last game, you were fighting for attention. In this one, you're just fighting. Unmatched is a 2-player skirmish game series where you're picking a unique character with a unique deck of cards and battling it out on a small board. There are many different sets, from Marvel superheroes to mythological creatures. There's a Houdini versus the Genie box, and even a Jurassic Park box where you can play as the T-Rex. This specific one I'm talking about is called Cobble and Fog. This has Dracula, Jekyll and Hyde, the Invisible Man, and Sherlock Holmes. You pick your character and you pick your battlefield. In this case, I went with the Invisible Man, who has a special ability where he can jump around from fog cloud to fog cloud, and he will be battling Sherlock Holmes, who comes with his sidekick, Watson. Each character comes with unique action cards that a player uses on their turn. You can maneuver, scheme, or attack. If you maneuver, you draw a card and then move your fighters around the board based on your move value. When you scheme, you play a card from your hand that lets you do a special ability. These can really change things up. And finally, you can attack your opponent. You choose which of your fighters is battling their fighter, and you pick an attack card. Your opponent has the option to choose a defense card to try and block. Then you reveal cards. Some cards have effects on them, which you may need to resolve. You compare attack value versus defense value and see how much damage was done. If you were successful in the attack, then the opponent's health is reduced. When it hits 0, they are defeated. There is some great back and forth strategy in this game, and those scheming cards really shake things up. With this one box, you have 4 unique characters and 2 battlefields, and with all the other boxes out there, you can mix and match to your heart's content. Have Sherlock Holmes fighting Ghost Rider, or Little Red Riding Hood taking on a pack of raptors. You have a ton of options for fun with Unmatched. This last head-to-head battler has a zillion sets as well. D&D themed, DC, Marvel, there's a ton. You want to play as Spider-Man or the Hulk or Batman or the Punisher? They are available, and many, many more in Dice Masters, a game where you're rolling dice and battling with your opponent, trying to knock their health points down to nothing. This game is a bag builder, which means you're trying to add better dice to your bag so you can accomplish bigger and better things. But before you even start, you need to decide what characters you will play. There are hundreds to choose from. There can be a lot of strategy in building your team, but that part doesn't interest me as much. So I just pick some characters I like and go with them. Once you have your area set up with the characters and actions you're playing with, you can start drawing from the bag. Everyone has the same set of starter dice. You roll them and decide what to do. You could generate energy to buy other dice or pay to use actions. You can field these weak sidekick dice too as playable characters, but as you build up your bag, you get better options. For example, I could spend some energy and get this Spider-Man out in the field. I could then attack my opponent with it. Then they have a chance to block. I'm doing a high-level explanation here because it's a little complicated, but essentially we want to get attacks in to lower our opponent's health. When they reach 0, we win. This game seems like there's a lot going on at first. Check out this play sheet that explains turn steps. It's a little crazy, but once you have someone explain it to you, it's fairly easy to play. I was a little worried to recommend this game because I wasn't sure how easy it is to find. It was really popular a few years ago, but it's waned. I checked, and there are still plenty of starter sets on Amazon, and you can probably find upgrade packs in game stores too. If you're interested, I highly recommend this one. Every time I've played, I have a great time, and I'm very casual about it. I grab characters and abilities that look fun and run with it. But you can really get into this game, being very strategic in your selections so they combo well together and create amazing forces. There's a whole tournament league for this as well, so no matter how much effort you want to put in, you can have a great time with Dice Masters. Well, that's about it for today at the diner, but we did have a lovely menu for 2. Let's go over the check. We traded and sold goods to be the richest merchant in Jaipur. We built this city on brick, steel, gold, and the occasional wild whiskey in Glasgow. Then built up our own little area of the kingdom in Rivals for Catan. We vied for the king's attention in Royal Visit, duked it out in the foggy cobblestone landscape in Unmatched, Cobble and Fog, and had epic superhero battles with Dice Masters. This is normally where you tip the server. But as usual, at the board game diner, the server has a tip for you. Today's tip, where to get more. Listen, I've got a specific purpose here. I'm the guy holding the door open to this great world of modern board games. I'm here to give you a taste of what's out there on the menu, but there's so much more to explore. So if you want to find other games, here are my recommendations. They are all channels on YouTube. Number 1 is the Dice Tower. They are known for their fun top 10 lists. They do a yearly top 100 games of all time, and the channel is focused on reviewing as many games as they can. If I'm wondering about a game, I search the review on Dice Tower, and they usually have it. I really enjoy most of the personalities on there, and they have great chemistry too. This is by far my favorite. Shut Up and Sit Down is a group of Brits that have far fewer reviews, but they are entertaining and very well thought out. The way they talk about and review games really paints a picture and gets you fired up and passionate about trying that game. I mainly listen to their podcast, but their YouTube videos are top-notch. Those are my main go-tos, but there are so many more out there. Watch It Played. Rado runs through it. Our Family Plays Games. Find one where you like their personality and they talk about games you're interested in. You gotta find the ones that fit your tastes. But wherever you go, I wish you luck. We're closing up shop for the day. Thanks for visiting the Board Game Diner. Coming up next, I'm going to venture out a bit from these welcoming games and highlight my top 10 games of all time, so you can get exposed to a wider variety of games. Until next time, let's play some games.